I am delighted to be joined by Sharon Glasswell. Thank you so much for joining us today in the presenter's hot seat. Where there's a certain time difference because you're in Australia and we're in the UK. So thank you so much for getting up early.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, you're welcome. So Sharon, you're presenting at the NLP conference in May and your topic is Recycle Your Day, NLP problem solving skills for children, parents, teachers and your clients. Sounds amazing. So do start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and your presentation.
Well, I'll tell you how the two things kind of evolved together. I was bringing up my grandchildren at the time, and I was also running a business, and I was seeing people that had problems, middle-aged people with young children, and they would come to me and they would have a session with me and the problem would go away. And as we all know, we can usually find the root cause of the problem is, a long time ago, when they were children, and often we would find seemingly things that weren't trauma, really insignificant problems that had created this gestalt of years of worry of not good enough, or too old, too young, too wrong side of the street, that kind of thing. And so when they realized that it was coming from things that happened years ago, they started bringing their children because their children were having problems at school. Now, I don't know what it's like in the UK or the US, but in Australia, our children are in trouble in school. We have 10 years ago, there was about 14% of kids that had behavioral issues. And now there is 62% of children have got mental health issues. So mental health and behavioral issues.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of work to do. I never wanted to work with children. I had 3 boys that I was bringing up myself, and I was like, no, or helping to bring up. And so we started seeing the children, and for me to be able to explain to them, about the NLP model of communication, kids kind of didn't get that. So I developed the metaphor of the rubbish bin. And basically, if you can imagine that we've got a trash can, it follows us, and all the stuff goes into the trash can. And when we grow up, that becomes our emotional baggage that we've got to carry around with us.
Yeah.
And so this little story kind of developed. And then I got some illustrations done so that I could show the children, and then they would put all the illustrations in order. And then the parents started saying, can we have something that we can take home? Can you write this into a book, or can we take some of the pictures or download them, or what can we do? And at the same time, the grandchildren were having problems at school.
Okay.
And they would start running away. And we lived only a couple of 100 yards away from the school. So, on a couple of occasions, I would be seeing a client in my office, and I would see this tiny little head come running past the window. And so I would have to, sort all that out after my client had gone home. So I guess it was a little bit like Milton Erickson's house at some point.
Yes.
And so, I wanted to explain to the teachers how they could handle the situation in a better way. They were doing the best they could with the resources that they had, but I was trying to stay as the nana rather than go down, with my big boots on saying, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the book, and we illustrated it with the school and with the uniform. And when I'd finished it, I took it down to the principal, and I showed him it, and he was just reading it. And I said, do you see my grandchildren in there? And he said, Sharon, I see myself in there.
Oh.
And so, that's how this whole thing developed. And now I use the book with everyone. Every client that comes, they have to read the book before we do the work. Right. It's a 7-minute book, but it will save 2 hours worth of therapy, and it will get them to cause in that 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So it took me 2 years to write the book, and it takes 7 minutes to read it.
A lot of thought went into it then.
A lot of tears. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. So Sharon,
Yeah.
what will delegates take away from your session?
You know, I want delegates to take away from the session that, you know, they're where they're meant to be. We all have emotional baggage that we carry around with us. And by understanding that we all have that emotional baggage, then, you know, we can make allowances for ourselves. I think that the delegates that will be attending the NLP International Conference, we're all of like-minded people. And, you know, we kind of think that we've got to have it all together, because in order to be able to help everyone else, we have to have it all together.
Yeah.
But yet the simple metaphor of recycling teaches us that, you know, in just a sentence, we can help ourselves understand where we are. My bin's full, you know. Yeah. And I like that, because when you're trying to create a communication with someone who possibly isn't being reasonable, we can understand that their bin's full.
Yeah.
You know, and my bin's full, and let's open that communication, because it's a lot easier when we don't have to have a big, deep and meaningful with ourselves while we're just trying to work something out.
Yes.
So, you know, my aim is to get this into community, get it into become a little conversation that's natural.
Wonderful, wonderful. So is there anything that delegates can do before your session to give them sort of either a deeper understanding or deeper experience during your session?
Well, yes, they can, actually. I was thinking about this question and I thought, what homework can they do? If they're up for it, they can go to YouTube and watch the book, because I've got a recording on there.
Yeah.
If they're going to do that, what I'd like them to do is be aware of how they feel as they're reading that book, because it will evoke emotions, and it will, you know, it will fire the neurons.
Right.
And if they really want to do a bit of homework, they can actually read it to their kids, or get their partners to watch it, or friends to watch it, and just, you know, just have a bit of sensory acuity while they're reading the book, and just watch them and see, because there are a certain couple of pages where people will get it and the unconscious mind will start to click in and do its own thing. So if they want to do that, they can. And if they really want to go to the top of the class, they can count how many NLP themes and how many themes that and NLP techniques are actually in that book.
Brilliant. In 7 minutes.
Yeah, just there's one or two.
Brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. Sharon, we're delighted. You're a new presenter at the conference this year, which is lovely.
Yeah.
We aim to have new presenters every year, because everybody has so much to offer the conference as presenters. So what does the NLP International Conference mean to you?
Well, you know, it's interesting, because I just put it out there that that's what I have to do to get this message out to the world. So when I sent the application in, I was seriously surprised when I was given that opportunity, and I'm very honoured for that to have happened. I'm very excited. I remember once when I was doing a training in Sydney, and it was a big training I was assisting at, and my daughter flew in from America to see us. Wow. And she was stood downstairs in the foyer, and when I got down, she said, "What is going on up there? Is this some kind of a cult? Because people are coming in this lift out all the time, laughing and smiling, and, you know, what is going on up there?" And that's what I'm so excited for. You know, they say proximity is power. I always learn something new every time I speak to like-minded people. And so to bring all of those people together into one place, the energy is just going to be amazing. And yes, I'm presenting online, but I have every intention of being at the whole event. So that's how much it means to me.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, I'm
So
very
to
excited.
remind people, Sharon is presenting at the NLP International Conference in May. You are, as you said, you're presenting virtually on Sunday the 21st at 9 a.m. British Summer Time. So it'll be evening for you. But thank you so much for taking the time out to present all the way from Australia. We appreciate that. And as I said, your presentation is Recycle Your Day, using NLP problem-solving skills for children, parents, teachers, and your clients. So thank you so much, Sharon.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome.